Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your DevOps SRE DevSecOps coach. What I'm going to teach you today is one of the tools where we store the packages. So in the last session, I taught you how do we create a packages. So let's say when you talk about application packages, we have used Maven and Gradle, right? And when we say system packages, then we use a tool called Packer. By the way, there are so many tools are available. One of the most popular one, which I'm covering right now for the same. Now we have a packages already created. It can be application packages, it can be system packages and all. But the question is how and where we can store it. So the question is, what is Artifactory? Artifactory. Now, in a simple way, if I say Artifactory is having collections of repository. Yeah, repository. Now this is the same repository which I discussed in the Git also, but the algorithm of this repository is different. So this repository which has a version of packages. Yes, packages. Now remember that in a Git repository we stored what version of source code, correct?
Yeah.
So in this repository, we store the version of packages. Now, when you say what is packages then? So guys, packages, as I said, it can be application packages or system packages. So if you put it in this way, list of supported packages at Artifactory, if you see that, so you have all the sort of packages, which is like a Java package, Docker package, npm package, Python package, raw package, Debian package, apt package, all kind of packages. You will see that here all these packages supported by Artifactory. Okay, so this is something which we have a packages. It can be system packages, it can be application packages. So in the Artifactory manages the repository. Okay, and repository we have packages. So are you clear why we are using Artifactory?
Is it like something like now we have software inside a drive? Is it something like
Yeah,
that? Okay.
something like a website for your packages. Simple. Web where you there there is a centralized place for the packages where you can upload the packages and download it packages. It's not for you, but for entire organizations. There's one centralized place.
Right. Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah,
So
thank you.
here now this tool is from what? So this is tool from JFrog. Okay, JFrog. Now, next question you will ask, who is developed using what language? This is Java. So the moment if I say Java, then many questions will should disappear immediately. You know that what? That means can I install Artifact in Windows, Linux, or Mac? Yes, you can because it's Java. And one more things like you need to have a Java installed for it, right? So that is a something. Now, as when it comes for releases, okay, so you have a multiple releases. So the right now in as part of the session which I am helping you is a community release, but basically we have a developer release also, an enterprise release also. Now, what are the major difference which we have in terms of developer release and all, community release? This you should check this here. So this is the comparison matrix and complete details. You will see that. So what I understood that the community one, which we call it a CE or OSS, whatever you wanna comfortable with it. This is having all the features, but the package is supported only for Maven, Gradle, and so on. whereas other types of packages supported for the Pro. So Pro is a paid one, Enterprise is also paid one. As part of this, I'm teaching you this one because this is something which you don't have to have any license for it. But if you are trying for Pro also, you can try for trial license 30 days and all. But the only problem is you get the license if you are from company. That means if you apply for Gmail ID and all. Earlier they were allowing it, but recently I've tried few times, but they don't allow actually. So yeah, that's one thing. So here community is good to go and so on. So I would suggest you to spend some time to understand the offerings, between the paid and free versions of it. Okay, so now next question you should be having is why we are using Artifactory for storing packages. So here I'm not going to give you lots of jargons for it because simple reason. One of the reason is like when you become a CTO or CEO of the organization, you want all the controls, you want all the packages at one place, and the people should upload and download from only one place. That's the one primary reason. But along with that, many other regions are there like controlled upload, controlled download, who's uploading, who's downloading. You should know all that. You should manage their access control and things like that. You can also backup because if it is a centralized one, you can take it up a backup easily. You can, secure the packages easily. One more reason which we have is like managing the integrity of the packages. When I say integrity of the packages, that means that storage over the period of time, if you have stored the packages, package get corrupted because storage get corrupted. And here in Artifactory, the repository which we have, the technology what they use is like basically they create a checksum for it. So that way, the durability of the packages is longer.
So
So these
you
are
are
the some of
comparing this one with the GitHub.
no, I'm not comparing for the GitHub. Remember that GitHub is for the source code, Artifactory for the packages. There's a different use cases altogether.
So the packages, whatever we generate, we cannot upload in the GitHub, or it's the same thing, or it's a different.
So the packages which you generate in through the coding practices, uh, you are not supposed to store in the GitHub because that's a bad practice actually. You are supposed to store only the code at GitHub. Packages are the tools like Artifactory Nexus or something like that.
I mean, like for example, what we can understand from your example, how can we understand this?
Mm, so what is the confusion? I do not understand.
I mean, like, can you provide an example, like for Artifactory example, so that I can understand?
Okay, so anyone would like to answer these questions, or I just want to know if you have understood what I said or not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right? The source code, right? That will be uploaded into a centralized location in GitHub, right? That is the best practice in any companies. But when we create a package, say, RPM package, right? When we like zip it or like we put all the relevant what do you say? Whatever is required, right? We will put it in a package and we will compress it and we'll put it some in centralized location. That is what is JFrog Artifactory. Is that the correct understanding?
Yeah. Someone would like to add me like what are the types of packages you have come across, so other than Dibya? When I say package, that means what? What exactly?
Yeah, package is a kind of a softwares that we normally use for the applications. That is my understanding. Okay, so Artifactory is kind of a disk drive or centralized repository where we can store all our softwares and software related things, and whenever we need, we can pull it from that repository or Artifactory.
Yeah,
So this is the comparison, I think, from GitHub to Artifactory. GitHub is only for the code. Artifactory is for the Java. For example, the .java files is for GitHub, and the Java JDK is for Artifactory.
yeah. So why I cannot give you the example here, because there's no example meant for it. It's very simple. Where do you store the code? Answer is GitHub. Where do you store the package? Answer is Artifactory. Now the question is, what is package? So guys, you've been using package a lot from since you started using the computer. One of the package you use a lot, exe, is a package. How many packages you generate every day in a software project? Hundreds of which. MSI is a package. zip file is a package. Tarball is a package. Android Developer APK is a package. RPM is a package. If you are this one, Mac guys, DMG is a package. Jar file is a package. ERS file is a package. So where do you store these packages? Are you going to store it in GitHub? Not a good practice. So where we are storing? We used to store it. We used to store at shared drive, right?
Yeah,
Shared
before
drive,
in the beginning we used to do like that. We used to share, put it in a network drive and
yeah,
download it and install it.
correct. But that's not good practice.
Yes.
If you're having in the shared drive, who has uploaded and downloaded, who modified the packages? Do you have a track of it, track record of it? No. Everyone can go there and do that whatever they wanted. Let me remind you, the same package which you developed is been deployed to the production. So if somehow the package is compromised, you are compromising the entire operations, entire organization's product line. So now, did you understand who has asked this question?
That's me, Rahil.
Yeah, you got it now?
Yeah, I understand now.
Cool. So now, why do we use it? So I think we discuss. Now, next question is how to install it. So the first thing is Java. I'm not going to teach you how to install Java because that is something which we have done in the past session also. But that is also very simple. I showed you the commands which you can install it. But again, for the recording's sake, I'll just Java install debugschool. Open up this one, and most of the training will be on Windows, Linux, Ubuntu. So just go for it. Run this command Java install OpenGTK. I'm preferring all the time. So I have the machine which has a Java installed already, and if I want to validate Java hyphen hyphen version, and it's a 17 one, the one which I installed in the Maven session, if you remember. Done. Now next thing is simple. Download a package, extract a package of Artifactory, and run it. That's all. The question is where do we get the package? Simply I go to the internet and I just simply say Artifactory download, and it should take me to the website which is here, and just follow what kind of package you want to download. So here you have everything. So here you have a Windows package. Here it is OpenShift package. That means you can install Artifactory in all these platforms. Linux here, Docker here, Helm here, RPM, Debian, all this thing, blah blah blah. So one of the simplest thing I'll go for Linux. Once I click on this download button, and you see here there's a download happening, and if you see the 7.77, it's 1.5 GB. Don't worry, I'm not downloading Windows, it's taking time. But this is how you can download. I'm canceling it. Why? Because I have a URL somewhere noted down. So let me show you here. Artifactory download DevOps school, or you say Artifactory install DevOps school. Okay, and now if you see that here, uh, not this one, this is the older one. Here, uh, here, yes, here. You see here, this is the direct all commands you have it which you needed for OSS. If you're looking for the Pro, you have it here. So this will save my time, um, you know, to get it done. So let me run this command. See, OPT. This will be downloading 7.21, which is I think 2-3 months older. That's okay. And in AWS, the download is very fast, so you don't have to wait for it. That's the reason I'm using always AWS for demo. So we want to save our time. Now it's almost 1.5 GB approx, I guess. So you have to remember that. And then here you have a package. And now I'm going to extract this package. So see that this command, extract command, I don't find it. So here I will just write tar -jetxvf, enter. This is the extract command, and good to go. And guys, now I'm going inside this folder, see this one, and under the app folder, under the bin folder, and there's one file which is called artifactory.sh, which you see over there. And here, start. These are all commands, though I remember that, but here you have it. So you can run this. Now, if I see the status, and it should be up and running because I don't find a region where it should not be. But again, if you find your artifact is not running, one of the reason I must add in this recording is like check your RAM requirement. So for me, it's 8 GB RAM for this VM and 2 CPU. So uh, they have a minimum requirement as such like 4 GB or something. So check the RAM requirement, though if you want to troubleshoot, you should look at the log files. Where do we find the logs? Under the var location, there is a log directory you see. There you find the logs and you can troubleshoot. So slowly you see all sort of logs which you have it. So this is something which we have done it. Now I want to, you know, access that. So on which port it is should be accessible. So the default port is 8082. I have opened up this port and here you have JFrog. Okay, the default username is admin123. I think admin password, I think PASSWRD password, and they'll give you some options here. Get started. This is the password. So admin123, admin123. The password guidelines also. So A capital 123, A capital 123, and next. And this is the base URL. I'll skip it because I don't have a DNS. This is the internet proxy. I don't because I'm in public, and skip it and finish. That's all. So here, this is your Artifactory which you got up and running. Are you okay with this, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so now basically next question is, let's say you say, Rajesh, I don't like this tool, Artifactory. Then what you'll do? If you don't like Artifactory, you will have to like a Nexus from Sonatype. Okay, there is one Sonatype Nexus which you have. If you don't like Nexus also. By the way, these two softwares are paid one. Okay, either you find Nexus or Sonatype. It's been more than 20 years. I have not seen one organizations who's not using any of this. But in open source category also we have Archiva, but I've not seen any of the organizations are using this one. So most of them you either find Artifactory or Nexus. Okay, so now next question is how it works. Basically architecture. Okay, so what is the architecture for it? So I'll just draw the pictures here. It will be easy for you to understand. So first thing, this is your machine, okay, and this is you, okay. So what you are accessing is a web front of Artifactory, okay. This is the web front. Here it is. This is the web front. Now here everything is stored in, let's say, user detail meta information in DB, okay. Now this DB, it can be any RDBMS as such. So by default, if I look at the DB, it is, I think, Derby, if I'm not wrong. Let me check that. So here, mm, yeah, by default it's a Derby. Okay, and that's a free one for this H2 also. But any RDBMS will work like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, anything as such. So now this DB, which stored the user information, meta informations and all, but package is being stored in the either local drive, that is the one options, but actually uh, Artifactory supports different types of file store actually. So if I go and search for Artifactory file store support and list, so something like that, you see file store configurations. And if you see the list of supported options, you will find almost all the cloud local storage. Anyways, I did discuss about it, you see. So here you have S3, which is AWS, Google, Azure, almost every options you have for this storing the file. So file by default right now I'm storing the local directory. That means same machines where I have installed the Artifactory, and that is how it is. The port number for the user is 8082. And now when you say user, this user can upload the packages or download the package. So did you understand the architecture, how it works, the Artifactory? Any questions?
So, does it pull the packages from, like, how does it pull the packages? Like, we create it and we upload it, or is there a pipeline to it, like all other tools?
See, uploading the packages again depends on that. Let's say, for example, you want to manually upload the package, go ahead, upload it. Nothing more about it. Let me show you here. So these are the repository. I'll talk about in few seconds. Okay. So
Mhm.
for example, this is the repository. Okay. Here you have a two repository. By default, I did not create though. And you want to upload certain files here, go ahead and deploy. And single deploy or multiple deploy. But this is not something which I want to teach you. Why? Because it's something which anyone can do that, right? Nothing great about it. Select a
Yeah.
file, upload it. I have come here to teach you automations. And now the question is, how can we upload and download through Maven? Correct? So that is
Yes.
something which I'll address. But manually, this and all, you can find it yourself also. Okay, so now that is something which we have. Now, what do you need to know? So we got the up and running. Now I have, by the way, I have documented this workflow. If you want to refer it, for example, Artifactory, factory, let's say upload, debugschool. So all these tutorials we have it. You can refer it. You see, upload artifacts. Similar way, you will have a download also. So everything you have it. But right now I'll teach you Anyways, so that is stuff. So now first thing which you have to learn at Artifactory, and that is repository types. Okay, repository types. What is repository types? So yes, see here, if you look at it very carefully, there is one user view and there is a one admin view. Admin view will be able to see only if you're admin. This view, the one which you see tab, anyone can see that. So if I go to the admin view, here I go to the repository and here click on the repositories, and then I see here you have a local, then report, then virtual, and then distribution. Now I will ignore the distribution because the CDN related stuff out of our scope. Let's focus on local, remote, and virtual. So the question you should ask me, okay, there's a repository type. What is local? What is remote? And what's virtual? So now let's try to understand this first. So it's very simple requirement here. There is a India team and there is a US team. Mind it, between them, the the distance which we have is 40,000 kilometer minimum. I'm just randomly stating it. So now let's say the developers you have here and developers we have here in India here, US here. We have two different teams. Now this particular team, now the question is where is the Artifactory server? So let's say if the Artifactory server is in USA, so what will happen? This team has to upload the files here and download the files from here, and that's going to take 40,000 kilometer. I mean, that's going to see if you upload and download so many times in a day, you're losing so much of time. And time is very important in the software engineering domain, correct? You are going to not only you are uploading and downloading, but the build process also upload and download, right? Correct now?
Yeah.
So what do we do? So then we decided, hey, we should be saving the hundreds of our developers time, and let's set up a Artifactory here. So we set up a two Artifactory. In this case, there is a repository we created, and that repository which you can use it, call it local repository. And here you can upload and download in local. Likewise, the US team also can upload and download the files in their own repository. So far, so good, right? But the next challenge which you have is like the package which was developed by India team, US team wants to access. The package which was developed by US team, India team wants to access. Now, how can we do that? So now here, remember that how many developers we have? Hundreds. How many developers we have? 100. So if hundreds of people will download from the remote repository, there's going to take a bandwidth, right? So what about, can we create one thing? This is a repository which we have in USA. Create one repository which is called remote here. And this remote repository is the cache copy of this one. And likewise here, this repository you create here, and you have this one here, and this is a remote for here. That means one local repository we had it earlier, and then we have created one remote also. So now 100 people, instead of downloading from the US directly, they can download from the local. And the local, if the pack is not there in the local remote repository, they will only copy once, not 100 times. Are you understanding all this concept?
Yeah. So
Yes,
the
very
remote
Simple.
good.
can be from only one, say, I have one US Artifactory server, right? You know, where that repository
Remote,
is there for US.
huh.
What if
Remote
I
means
have
any
for UK?
remote means anything which is not a part of that Artifactory server. Others one. So it can be different city, it can be different country, it can be different geography altogether. Correct?
Okay.
So now local means the repository where you can upload and download, basically read and write both. But remote repository, you cannot upload it, but you can download it because remote repository is a cache copy of some other repository. Okay. Now virtual, what is virtual? Typically, I don't know why we call it virtual. If it is a group repository, then I think it will be more meaningful. That means in the virtual repository, what have multiple local and multiple remote, put it up together and it's become more virtual. So in the virtual, you can have a multiple local and multiple remote in order to minimize the list of repository name, different URL. So yeah, we have a three repository type: local, remote, and virtual. And I'm going to create now. So let me create it. So local,
Raj,
I'm creating.
yeah, there is
Yeah,
one clarification. So if we have a local and remote, how this will get sync? The similar to Git, right? So we have this local and remote, and
right.
do we need to pull and push, and all these things will happen since it's a remote is a read only. Then
Yeah,
how this local and remote will sync?
yeah. So it's we call it upload and download concept here because it's a package, right? So you
Right,
upload it and not a push and pull. In Git, we call it a push and pull.
right. So here how the sync will happen.
I'll show you that through examples.
Okay, Raj, thank you.
So now we have local, remote, and virtual. So guys, I'm going to create a local first and then remote and virtual. Now, as I said, there are so many types of packages you can store. And in this session, I'm going to teach you Maven. By the way, in a community edition, Gradle and generic. Generic one means any package you can store in that repository, any type of package. But Maven means jar, var, EAR. Gradle means jar, var, EAR, and C++ packages also. IB is anti-dependency management is out of the scope. SBT is also out of scope right now. So primarily we'll focus on the and remember I told you in Gradle session, Gradle do not have a package manager. Why? Because they use the Maven package manager itself. So the question is, how do we upload and download? That is very simple. I don't have to teach you for that. But the question is, how do we upload and download using Maven? That is important. Okay, so what we have decided, we'll create a one local repository using Maven type. And this I'm going to name it DevOps school. And here I say local, that way you understand that. Now you will not rush here. Where is that? It's gone. I think I lost it. You will not rush, okay? And you will try to read each and every options. Okay, just a second. Oops. School, local. You will try to reach all this option. Now, what is this option? Is basically whatever the Maven I have taught you, the same options you have here also. Okay, so please read these options. For example, if you remember how many different kind of package you have in Maven, so religion snapshot you have here. So anyways, I'm creating the local repository. I created it and here it is. Now this is the admin view. If you want to see in the user view, go to the Artifactory, go to the package, artifacts, and here this is the URL for it. Look at this. This is the URL to file. So this is the repository address which we have for local. Now similarly, we want to create repository, but which is remote. But remember that for the remote creation, we need one remote repository of Maven time. Correct? Agree with me, all of you? We need a remote server, right? Same type of repository. Agree? So what we are going to do? So we don't have any remote repository because we have not set up another Maven, another Artifactory server of Maven repository. So what I'm going to do? So guys, we have one public repository which is available for everyone. And if you remember, we have used in the Maven session also, and this is called it central. So this one is available. It's a Maven type itself. I can use this one. So how do we do that? So let me create first remote add Maven, and here I should say remote debugschool. I'm just ignoring it right now. And this is the URL. I did not specify, and they have given it already. Why? Because they knew that when we create a private registry, which is a Artifactory, we are going to create this as a proxy. I mean remote. So username and password not required. You can test it. It's okay. Everything's working fine. Done. So this is the remote also I created. Now the last one, I'm going to create a repository which is a virtual, and this is again Maven type, and I call it a group basically. And this should be a part of local one, remote one, and save and finish. That's all. So basically I created one group, one remote, one local, and this is important for you. Are you comfortable, all of you?
Yes.
So we have got created repository. Now let me help you to browse this. And here go for, see here, this is local, this is remote, and this is the bridge, a group. URL is you have it. So now we have created repository. Now next thing is what you're going to do. So next thing, you are going to create a user, and you are going to assign the user's access and password. So for that, what are you going to do? So let me move on to the next option, which is called identity and access. And here I'm going to create a user. I don't think so I have to drag this one because it's just a simple way to create this one. And whatever the access you want to give it, you can give it. Set the password, deploy 123, deploy 123. So this is the something which you have, and save it. Done. So I've created user, but I'm not given assignment. I have not assigned to access. Let me create a group, DevOps group, and description. And let me add that deployment to that group, deploy user to that group. Done. So here I created a user, here I created a group. Now I'm going to assign access here. So let's create a permissions, call out DevOps. What resources you want to assign it? We have a free repository created, right? See here. And in fact, everything I just assign. And which user? No user. Don't want to attach to the user, rather group. It will be easy for me. So DevOps group, I think I created, yes. And click OK. Done. What access you want? So right now blindly I'm doing every access though. Not good practice. And create. Done. So creating user group and assigning a permission to the group. Was it difficult, all of you?
Yes, Raj. But now can you upload a file to the local and then access that in the group? Which means that if I upload a file in local, then is there a way that this no deploy user can able to access in the remote? or in the virtual group?
Yeah, you can access it. I created a group here. There is no package right now. See
Just
here,
any text file.
this is the URL. Open up the new. There's no package right now, so it will be empty. So this is the one. Okay, strange. From where this package came actually, I don't know. Anyone?
From remote.
It
Looks
is
like
a remote. Yeah. So this is the one. Because I created a proxy, right? They are syncing up in a background. Got it?
yes. But still, I know what I would like to say is to upload a file in local and then view that file in the virtual.
Yeah, that's possible. You have to use this group. I'll show you that one. Okay, so good to go. Any questions so far, all of you? Any questions? Hello.
No, that's only one.
Okay, so what we covered so far, I covered what is Artifactory, where it stands in SDLC cycle. Second, why do we need it? Third, why we need it? Fourth, how to install Artifactory servers. What are the different types and all this, that and all. And then followed by we discuss about what is a repository and how do we create it, different types of repository. And then followed by how do we create a user access, groups and permissions and all that. Any questions so far? Now next what I'm going to teach you is how to upload using Maven and how to upload a download using Maven. Because manually you can do that, upload and download, that's not a big challenge. But typically in a DevOps, you won't do that manually. This has to be done either through Maven or Gradle or command line or curl or some scripting or anything as such. So these are the build tool supports are inbuilt, and that's a beauty about these tools. We have to use it. Okay, so any questions so far from anyone?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@debugschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.